What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Winging It podcast. Andre, how you doing, man?
Eh, I'm doing all right. I mean, better than I've heard some video game companies are doing right this moment. So
Shots fired. And on that note, so today's episode is all about the horror genre because this is the month of Halloween, and I'm probably going to forget all about scary games and horror games at the end of the month. So I figured while it's fresh on my mind, let's go and knock this on out tonight for this episode. So
yeah,
the horror genre. To be honest, I'm going to be completely honest here. The horror genre has kind of went the way of like not being scary to me anymore. And
it's
I'll
gone
say,
the way of the dodo. Just
yeah, and the reason why I say this is because back in like the fifth and sixth gen when they actually had like they actually made you terrified. Like they don't do that anymore. They give you way too much ammo, way too much weapons. Like it's not really scary. Now there are some exceptions, like what's the one that everybody loves, Slender Man.
yeah. But the
But
problem is
that
that
really
the
don't do
problem
nothing
with
to me.
that
So
is the problem with that is though you're forced into an unrealistic situation. That's with a lot of games that are horror bound. You're forced into an unrealistic situation where you can't fight back. So it's either horror that sucks because you have too much ability to fight back, or horror that leaves you with no ability to fight back.
well, yeah, because that's like the action horror genre or whatever they're trying to name it. Like it's basically what RE turned into, what Resident Evil turned into. Like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica, you can say they're horror because they're not gonna give you that much
And,
ammo,
and you can
that many
count
weapons.
zero in that. You can count zero in that too.
Oh yeah, that one too. They're not gonna give you that much ammo. They're not gonna give you that much weapons. You got to get creative. Uh,
And you gotta know
four,
when to run.
yeah, 4, 5, 6, fun and gun, baby. you know, so
I would say not so much for four. Four still had a slight issue
well,
with limited ammo, but you could find a lot of ammo in certain locations.
yeah,
Whereas
that's why I kind of.
five and six, you just every 2 to 3 steps you take, you find bullets.
Hmm, I'm going through this vegetable stand in Africa. Wow, there's some shell casings over there. Let me grab these bullets. Like, what the hell, dude? So yeah, it kind of devolved for me. Now I will say this: GameCube era, that sixth gen, which is currently my favorite generation of gaming, actually had some good ones. Eternal Darkness, that one messed with my head. That one really messed with the head because that sanity meter go down, all bets are off. What they're gonna do. And but you know what? I like that though because it was different. It wasn't. It was so different to the point where you was just like, okay, let me make sure I keep this green gauge all the way up to the top because I'm not. I can't deal with whatever it's gonna show me. So I could deal with that one. That one was. I think that was probably one of the last ones that actually scared me. Actually, which is kind of sad considering that I do like Resident Evil for what it is, and I did hear because I never played seven. I really
Seven
don't
is good. It's not to me. It's not scary, but
see.
I can see it scaring most people.
Well, that too. Because another thing, I have to temper this. I watch a lot of movies, so uh,
I was a big horror head when I was younger, so there's not much that's going to happen in a video game that's going to catch me off guard.
yeah. So and even now, it's the same thing because like video games and movies sometimes kind of they're parts of the entertainment business kind of mirror each other from time to time. And horror movies have not been scary for like the longest. People sit there
Nah,
and act like Paranormal Activity was scary. I slept through that mug.
I mean, my biggest problem when it comes down to it is most of the time you can predict what's going to happen. That's
Yeah,
that's the big problem. If you've seen enough horror movies, you know the tropes well enough, you can predict what's going to happen. And if you don't predict exactly what's going to happen, you're usually not too far off from how it's going.
that's true. And I have to say this: like the worst horror movie I ever seen was Dragon Ball Evolution.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
See, you saved yourself.
Oh
And
no
I know
no.
what you're thinking, people. That's not a horror movie. Did you see the acting in that movie? Did you see the acting in that movie? If you're a Dragon Ball fan, that's a horror movie. If you are a Dragon Ball fan, that is the worst horror movie of all time.
Oh no. I knew that would be a bad movie the second I saw the previews for it. I was like, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah.
That and Street Fighter Legend of Chun Li. I said I was not watching those.
I did not go to the theater to see that one. I
Um,
did rent it because I was like, I know bad movies. I know when a movie's bad. There ain't no way this movie's that bad. I stand
and you was wrong.
I stand corrected. Van Damme Street Fighter movie made that thing look like an Oscar winner. Am I lying? Am I lying?
With the stand in place Dragon Punch, yeah, you right.
Thank you. With the stand in place, I'm a stand in place Dragon Punch and turn around to make you think I actually did something.
They tried to angle it.
Was better than that entire whole movie.
They tried to angle it so no one would know.
Yeah. Jeez, Damien Chopper. Anyway, that being said, sorry about that little side tangent, but yes, Dragon Ball Evolution was a horror movie.
And Street Fighter Rise of Chun Li, whatever. It was those were both horror movies if you're fans of the franchises.
With Kristen Cruick, who's Canadian and not Asian.
Just let it go.
Okay, so boy, woke Hollywood now. Woke Hollywood now would have had a field day with that one. Just saying. Just saying. But back onto the horror genre, as it were. So that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about some horror games, and one of them is an anthology that came out. The Dark Pictures, because their second game is about to come out in a couple weeks.
I still gotta play that. I have not done it yet.
Well, me and Fangirl Review Vicky, we're playing through the first one because we're gonna get the second. Well, she forced me to get the first one, so we're gonna get the second one and play through it because I just want to kill people. I just want to see people die in hilarious ways. So yes, I'm taking my love of Game of Thrones to everything. So I just want to see people die in hilarious ways. So if you give me the option, I'm probably gonna try to kill the person. So especially if they're an actor that I know and I can't stand them, because there's a couple of actors that I know in that Man of Medan game. I can't stand them. Oh, I loved watching them die. That being said, that's a joke, people. Y'all get what I'm saying.
He enjoyed it in the game. Just put it out.
I enjoyed it in the game. It was just funny because it's kind of like when they do the you know how on Family Guy when Peter does something stupid and he falls in that weird way. It's kind of like that. Like you get a laugh out of it because they do it's kind of like when you play in Halo and you get hit with a rocket and they show your body tumbling.
Complete ragdoll.
Yeah, complete ragdoll. So it's kind of funny to see that. I know it's kind of wrong, but y'all know y'all laugh at that stuff too, so don't judge me. That being said, I actually liked I actually liked the Man of Medan. It wasn't scary to me because I knew what was going to happen. I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. But it was interesting just to go through the actual, game of it. So I am looking forward to the second one, the second part of the anthology. I think that's I want to say they said November, which kind of odd, seeing as how it's
October now.
Yeah. They probably should have wanted to come out in October, but okay, whatever.
I'd be like, look, we're going to drop this like a week before Halloween.
That would have been better, but I could be wrong because, like I said, everything got thrown off because of the pandemic, so that's the only reason I'm not.
Probably why it's not October.
Yeah. But they have been showing some dev diary stuff. Some of the actors, some of the voice actors for that game have been doing stuff on the YouTube channel. It's actually been pretty interesting if you're into stuff like that, so you might want to check that out. But yeah, Man of Medan, that's actually not bad. I mean, I get the horror stuff they're trying to do. Is just, I guess once you get to a certain, if you've seen enough horror films or you've played enough horror games, like certain stuff, you just, like you said, the tropes, you already know they're there. you're gonna see it coming from a mile away, and really ain't nothing you can do about it. The only thing is, I'm glad the brothers ain't die first. So
Well, that's the one horror trope that we needed to get rid of, because
yeah,
realistic situation that would not happen.
no. Realistic situation, that wouldn't be a movie because the black person wouldn't be in there. But yeah,
No. See, there's a chance it might be in there, but
he ain't
the
sticking
second
around.
something went down, you hear you just hear feet.
All you hear is feet, and you hear the car spit out.
Yeah, you hear feet, the door slam, and maybe somebody scream that they got their finger caught, and the car peel out.
Yeah. I wonder why they never do that.
Oh, that would be funny if somebody threw that in a horror movie. I
Yeah.
would,
I
because
never
it
understand
just
why they always
reminds
do
me of
that.
that makes me think of the movie The Skeleton Key, where who was it in that movie? I can't remember who played in the movie, but the mother always said she wanted to get a black girl. It said the black girls never went over there. It was like, nah, I don't want to go to that house. I got I get a bad feeling about being there.
I'm like, dude, and that's one of those things too, like, and that's another thing too. I think that's the other thing that actually kills the horror genre for me is when people do stuff that's actually dumb. Like people that they know that's dumb, that people don't react like that. I don't know if anybody, even my white friends, they tell me if they see a disembodied hand, right,
I'm not going to sit
GET,
there and
they're not gonna
investigate it.
stay there and investigate. They're leaving. So I'm like, I've never understood it because
They'd be like, look, is it my job to check this out? No. Bye.
yeah. So because I will never forget, I had went to the because I used to work at the theater when I was in college and when I was in high school, and me and all my friends, we'd go watch. Sometimes at the theater we'd have to preview the movies just to make sure, especially the rated R ones, because sometimes you get rated R movies, we don't even know why they rated R because there's not that much cussing in it. There ain't that much violence. We don't know. So we have to watch them. We'd have to preview them just to see, okay, can kids actually watch this? Can we tell the parents about it? Things of that nature. So we watched some horror movies and we'd be like, well, I straight up asked them, like, hey, ain't nobody that dumb. It's like, no, nobody's that stupid. Nobody's that stupid. Nobody's going to stay in a house where clearly the ghost wants you out of there and you want to spend the night and investigate.
Nah.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. I'll see you later. I'll get you a gift for Halloween.
You want me out? This is your house. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be gone.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you know what? Thanks for letting me know. I'll see you in church on Sunday. I'll just leave. I'll just leave, dude, because I'm not going to stay there. Thank you for warning me before you get pissed off. I'm gone. So I think that's what actually kills. Because if there's like a realistic way to actually do it where people have to stay, I think that works better.
Yeah, there is, but the problem is nobody wants to create the story and the build up to those types of stories because it would take a long build up for something like that.
Yeah.
And they only have so many hours that they can fit in the screen time.
Yeah. And that's why I think like video games could have been done to take it and do it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, like I said, it's kind of like they start to mirror each other a little bit because you have like certain genres of games where those games cost like upwards of $200+ million, and you're like, dude,
that was wasted money.
Yeah, like no, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't think any video game should cost that much because one, the gaming industry as it has gotten more popular is still niche. It's not as big as the movie industry. Yes, the movie industry, you can have a $200-300 million movie, and if it's popular enough, can make your money back in 2 weeks. A video game ain't gonna do that.
No, not usually.
About Destiny.
Ask Ubisoft about the last Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Ask them about Watch Dogs.
Or Square Enix about the original Tomb Raider game from the reboot.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not gonna make all your money back because it doesn't work like that. Video games, they usually make their money over time because number one, I don't know if anybody that spends $60 on one ticket. $25, yes, depending on if you go in the IMAX or not. depending if you're going like specialty theaters or whatever. But I don't know if nobody's spending $60 on one ticket. So therein lies some of the problem. Like I said, gaming, while it has gotten more popularity, it's still pretty niche. I mean, just see how people treat gamers. I mean, oh, you're playing video games. What are you, a child? Nah, man, I'm grown, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, folks. One love. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, with all that being said, I hate them Resident Evil movies, man. God dang, I hate them.
Oh, they are horrible.
Like, Paul W.S. Anderson, you made one good video game movie. That's why I saw that Monster Hunter trailer.
Don't fuck it up.
Oh, it's already done. But that being said, Tony Jaa does look badass. But I will say this. Those Resident Evil movies, one, were not scary. Two,
very loosely tied. They were very loosely tied to the story of the games in the first place.
Loosely.
Very loosely, like hanging by a thread loose.
Like, the only reason why you know they're the games because they got one character in there named Claire Redfield.
And Jill was in the third movie.
Yeah, Jill was in the third one. Then they brought a Backstreet Boy in there to play Leon. That was some bad cosplay. I don't know.
That was just horrible.
Who in makeup did that. They did that man wrong. Then they brought in a short Wesker. That dude had to be like 5'2". I'm like, ain't Wesker supposed to be like 6'8"?
Wesker's supposed to be tall.
That dude was overacting like a champ. I'm like, bruh. So, and the reason why I bring those movies up is because they really did turn into comedies. I think the only one that I actually thought was good was, which one was Extinction, the third one?
Yeah, I think so.
The one where they killed Christina Milian like the first 15 minutes. Or was that? No, that was Mike Epps. That was Mike Epps they killed in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, because he survived the second movie.
Yeah, he survived the second one, and they killed him in the third one. I'm like, wow, really?
It was like right at the start of the movie.
I'm like, okay, all right, so y'all going back to that trope. But that was like
those movies,
comedies.
The premise was the problem. I was like, how are you going to make people zombies with microchips?
Well, and another thing too is Umbrella won. Like by the third movie, they had won. Who were they being evil to?
No one.
Who were they being evil to? I'm like, you can't be evil to the zombies. Who are you being evil to? You won. Like in the games, it makes sense because it's little pockets. It's like this country in Africa, or this village in Eastern Europe, or this city in the United States that mysteriously got hit with a nuclear bomb, except nobody says anything to the government about that.
I would love to know how that one city got hit with a nuke, but that nuke didn't affect anywhere else.
Yeah. Okay, so you see where we're going with this, right? But I mean, it's one of those situations where you're like, okay, loosely based is loosely based, but it turned from, okay, this might be interesting, to straight up comedy by 4, 5, 6, and 7. It was straight up comedy. I'm like, you can't call these horror movies no more. I went to the theater for one, and we were just in there laughing. Everybody was in there laughing, and I didn't go to a black theater for that either. So, because sometimes you have to preface this, because man, you know, man. Look, come on, Andre, man, you know.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so, hey, sometimes when it's a bad movie, the best movie to go to is a black theater and just bask in the glow of live commentary.
Just die laughing at it.
Yeah, just bask in the glow of live commentary, because you ain't going. There's no feeling like that. But I wasn't at a black theater when I went to go see it, and everybody was still in there talking. I'm like, because it was stupid, and we all knew it was stupid.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how they made money. I'm still trying to figure that out. But some kind of way they did.
It's one of those things where it gets so bad it's good.
Yeah. Or people just like, I know the last one was just horrible. I gotta see how bad this was gonna be.
Yeah.
So it came to that point, and then the game started coming to that point, because Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, that one was kind of funny.
I was like, what the hell?
Well, no. It started with 5. It
Yeah,
started
it
with
did start with five.
it started
Five,
with 5 because you see Chris Redfield and it was in one of their trailers. You can see him punch a boulder and it rolls.
and it's clear. Like if you watch Chris Redfield from Code Veronica to five, clearly somebody was hanging with Jose Canseco.
I mean,
Just saying.
I
Just saying.
get he's supposed to be the tough dude, but there's no way this man is going to punch a boulder and it fly like it does in that
Yeah.
game.
Unless he's one of the seven deadly sins.
Just like
And
that
his
don't.
name is Escanor. I mean, I don't know how that happens, man. But yeah, like it went that route, and it didn't help that five had like the worst tank controls of
They had
all
the
time.
worst controls. The dialogue was horrible.
Yeah, Whisker was still the man though.
Yeah, what Wesker was the best thing out of that whole game, with the
Yeah,
exception of the final boss fight. And I'm sorry for a spoiler for a game that's I don't know how old anymore.
yeah,
But you blow a Wesker up that turns into a big lava beast with rockets.
yep. Somebody clearly played
I
Metroid
mean,
Prime.
this man legitimately couldn't be killed. He couldn't be killed by getting thrown into a volcano. He became the volcano.
Yep.
But we're gonna kill him with rockets.
Like I said, somebody was playing Metroid Prime.
Not even high grade rockets.
Just a regular one.
Not nukes.
Just a
Regular
regular one.
old rockets.
Not a vibranium rocket, a regular rocket.
I'm like, this story is so inconsistent, which is making me change my mind about which game is worse between 5 and 6. I think 5 is actually the worst game.
Five might be the worst game. Six just pissed me off
Six,
because
six, six at least has a decent Leon campaign.
yeah, the Leon stuff was fire. It's everything else.
That dude having all them powers like a prototype character, and then having Chris's run and gun Call of Duty types.
Which made no sense because
the
like
Leon section makes sense.
Yeah, usually in those Resident Evil games when those run and gun stuff with them soldiers happen, them soldiers get jacked up. Resident Evil Revelations, anyone? Them dudes got like it wasn't pretty. So I'm like, like you said, inconsistency. It just went all over the place. But once again, the movies was inconsistent. They went all over the place.
Yeah.
So
then the game started following the trend of trying to be more action heavy when they really didn't need to. 4 could get away with it because 4 was breaking into new territory and it was bringing people new stuff they hadn't felt or played with before.
And it wasn't zombies. It was actual.
Yeah, it wasn't zombies. And 5, they just took it way too far. And then 6, they tried to pull it back some, but then in other parts they made it. They went beyond that. I'm like, y'all couldn't figure out what y'all wanted to do.
Mm-mm. I mean, nobody sat back and said, "Okay, look, let's let this breathe. Let's let 5 breathe." Because 4 was perfect, but I think 4 isn't 4 the last one Shinji Mikami made.
I want to say yes.
That's probably why.
I want to say yes.
Because when he left Capcom, it went to somebody else, and that's when all that.
Yeah, because he was the last person from the teams that worked on the first set of games. He was the last person from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, everybody else left. Half of them left and went with Kamiya to Clover and now Platinum. Then some of them left and went with Kojima. Some of them left and went with
Some of them just got moved to other projects indefinitely. So it's just like Resident Evil.
I think a couple of them actually wound up doing Street Fighter, which was weird. But yeah, so he was the last one. I think 4, and I think that's why 4 was so good because Leon couldn't punch no boulder. Leon had to run.
Let's say the closest Leon got to being superhuman is when he was fighting that other soldier that had been given the virus.
Yeah, and now that was a cool scene.
But you still realize he had to fight with skill. He didn't overpower him. He outfought him.
Yeah, basically because he was smarter than he was.
Yeah.
What did you name
which makes the Chris and Wesker situation look so weird because we know Wesker is the more experienced soldier, the better soldier, the better fighter, the stronger fighter overall, and on top of that, he's hopped up off of a super virus. How the hell is Chris supposed to beat him?
Jose Canseco.
I'm sorry. Excuse my French, but roids ain't gonna help you that much.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that made sense after you see him from Cobra Run to the 5. You're like, dude, hold on, you
No,
gained 60 pounds of rip and no, dude, that don't happen.
it don't. It don't.
It don't.
It
What
don't.
you want? Needless to say, the NFL pretty much suspended Chris Redfield for the remainder of the 2008 season.
Um,
But okay, so Resident Evil, they inconsistent as I don't know what.
yeah.
Silent
I
Hill
mean,
though.
actually, well, 7 was a good game. 8 is looking to be a good game because it looks like they finally found what they want to do. I just don't agree that it's Resident Evil.
That ain't Resident Evil, dude.
No,
They
it
should just call it The Village because that's what it is.
it
They should
it
just call it The
doesn't
Village.
feel like Resident Evil like
Yeah,
the original games because that was a distinctive style.
and it was based off Night of the Living Dead. That's why it had zombies in it. Like this stuff, this ain't Resident Evil, man.
Nah.
But to be honest, in Japan it's called Biohazard. So
Yes.
there is the thing with that. That's why they probably shouldn't have changed the name over here because
I
when you
think
say
that was
Biohazard, you can talk about a plethora of things.
yeah, but I think that was more or less because of a copyright evil, not evil, copyright situation. That was a copyright situation because
Yeah.
remember there were a couple games called Biohazard before,
Oh yeah, that is right. That
different
is right.
types of games. One was a space shooter
That is right.
on the
So
Genesis.
I forgot all about that, and most people have too. So, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. So Silent Hill though, they
Silent,
had movies too, by the way.
at least their movies actually fit with the game. I'm sorry, even
Yeah,
if you
there's the
look, the first movie was a combo of Silent Hill 1 and 2, and I saw what they were going for, which is why I was fine with it. I didn't get to see the second movie, but
second one was kind of they took bits and pieces of 3.
yeah, I heard that, but I didn't really get to see
Yeah,
it. So.
it didn't feel right. The first one was the best one in my opinion because the second one it kind of jumped a little bit all over the place in my opinion because I knew what games they were trying to go off of, but the problem is you did all that in the first one.
I think they threw too many parts in there because it was the way they mixed it up that was a bit of a problem, but they still tried to stay consistent with the story at least.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But now Silent Hill, I didn't. To be completely honest, I didn't start playing Silent Hill until after I got out of college. Now, when I got out of college, it was 2003. So I was playing Resident Evil 4, and I loved Resident Evil 4, and that's when a friend told me, "Hey man, why ain't you ever play Silent Hill?" I'm like, I don't know what the hell Silent Hill is. So he got me into that. I started playing. I'm like, hey, this actually ain't bad. It's
Nah.
weird, but it ain't bad. You
See,
know?
no, if you were playing Silent Hill consistently when you were playing Resident Evil, you probably would have liked Silent Hill more.
I probably
If
would
we're
have.
playing them at the same time, because I remember when I first played Silent Hill, and it wasn't even the full game because it was before the game came out. Remember when Pizza Hut had those demo discs that
Yeah,
they were giving out?
yeah.
My friend ended up with one, and we played it. And I remember the intro to it, and it's like you walking through the alley and you trying to find dude's daughter, and it starts getting dark, and you just running trying to figure out where to go, and then they start clamoring in all the little characters with the knives that start clamoring in on you, and you trying to escape and can't find a way out, and you just running until they catch you. I'm sitting here thinking, how the hell do you get out of this? How are you supposed to make it through there? And then you finally figure out that you were supposed to get caught
Yeah,
before the story moves on.
basically. That's back when you talk about not holding your hand.
Mm.
They ain't hold your hand for nothing. They ain't give you no
Nah.
clues. They ain't give you nothing.
Well, that's because we also back then we had video game manuals,
Yeah, we did.
and a lot of the stuff that you needed to know about a game was in the manual. They expected you to read before you played, or
Which
at
is
least
what you
they hoped you would.
normally did. Which is what you normally did before you played the game. I guess now that's not
Now
the.
that's why we have to have tutorials as heavy-handed as they are because people won't know what to do.
Yeah. And they won't
Make
take the 5 seconds that it normally takes to look at the actual interactive manual that comes with every game.
Yeah, nah, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of happens. But Yeah, the Silent Hill stuff wasn't bad. I didn't mind that. I hate that it kind of stalled out because I thought they actually sold pretty well, but a friend of mine said not
No,
really.
not the third one. The third
Yeah,
one really didn't.
yeah. But I
And
mean,
honestly, by the third game, if you were paying attention to it, they were throwing a lot of stuff out of left field that just didn't match up with the other two games, and that's probably why the second movie wasn't so cohesive with the
yeah,
first.
because I will give them that. Like I said, the first Silent Hill movie it made sense. The second one didn't make no sense
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. But it is what it is. Now they have had some other horror games that have come through. Some of them been okay. I mean, for what they were. I noticed that a lot of the indie games, a lot of the indie developers are making actually pretty decent attempts at them.
Yeah,
I mean, Little Nightmares, that is hella creepy.
yeah.
But I think they're coming from the creepy angle too, so they're doing the
That's most of it. They're trying to keep you more freaked out with the tension of the game
yeah.
rather than the big jump scare moments. At least most of them now are, because that was the thing. A lot of indie games were going for the jump scares until that got played out, and now they're trying to play with the creepy factor. Now, if somebody can find a game that will give you the creepy factor and on top of that can hit you with unexpected jump scares but make you still feel tense the entire game, that would be a feat currently because there's no game that really does that.
Yeah,
It's one they just focus on one aspect.
yeah, I can give you that because the last game that actually did that to me was the original Resident Evil 2. I'm not talking about the remake because I didn't play
Yeah.
that. I'm talking about the original Resident Evil 2. Like there were points in there where you're like, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. I can't play this at night.
Well, no,
So
that's yeah, that's the game you that and the original Silent Hill were the games that if you was gonna play it, you wanted other people there with you.
yeah,
Because one, you could get confused and lost, and that was a part of the factor that drew up the tension.
and two, if you lived in Southwest Georgia, you wanted somebody that had a weapon just in case.
The best time to play those games was in the middle of the night where it was pitch black.
No, actually, it was in the middle of the afternoon. Um,
Look, that's if you didn't want to be freaked out. But if you was looking for that horror factor,
yeah.
that's the best time to do it. In the middle of the night, every light in the place off. Only visible light you got is the television and whatever small light you're using to write down notes and stuff to keep track of where you're going.
Yeah, I will never forget. Like, I had my N64. Me and my college roommate, we were like, "Okay, man, people been saying this Resident Evil 2 is scary, man. I don't believe them." So we booted it up. It was like 11 o'clock. We didn't go to sleep that night. We was like, "Hey, man, you sleep? Nah, man, I ain't sleep yet. I ain't going to sleep till the morning time, dude."
I'm guessing this was because that was right after that section you get out the police department.
The police department. Yeah.
Right after that is when the biggest freak out event goes down. I'm like, yeah, I think that held everybody at bay for a minute.
And the funny thing about it was because in South Georgia, you hear everything at night. Everything. So we were like, oh hell no. So after that, nah, we ain't playing more at night. We gonna mess around and kill somebody. Since we're playing around, because people love to play in college, they love to play pranks on people. I'm like, okay, prank
Right,
if you
go
want
on,
to,
do that
get a
right now.
Louisville slug upside the head. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, they did that. Yep.
I think honestly it's also because back then it was a lot of open room for something fresh to scare people.
Yeah.
It's not so much now because we've seen most of it. And only
And,
people that are really getting scared by anything aren't used to it.
and the other thing too, I think is like, is it just me or do you feel like developers back then had more freedom to just do their own vision as opposed to now where you got social media, you gotta listen to this vocal minority because they say they need to be like this, and you trying to like keep them happy and not really focused on okay, look, the reason why we got tank controls in here isn't because the game is broken. It's because we want you to feel like you're surrounded and you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Run or fight.
Yeah. And I don't think people understood that that's what the purpose of tank controls is to make it feel like it's you. So if you turn the character to the right, they're turning to their right. You
Yeah.
turn to the left, they're turning to their left, like you're there. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where people couldn't use their imaginations to put themselves in the character's shoes, even though you could see what was going on the screen from a different angle.
Yeah.
I could.
I could too. That's
I
why I was
got
like,
played.
that's why I never had a problem with Zombie U. I'm like, that's how the game's supposed to be played. Greg Miller.
But
But
that's the reason that now a lot of games like that are doing over the shoulder cameras. It's still the same control scheme,
yeah,
but now you're actually from the perspective of the character, which to me doesn't make it any more horrific, doesn't make it any more scary because you can see everything coming now. You have a vantage point on just about everything, unless there's stuff to obscure vision along the way, and that doesn't often happen, especially with like Resident Evil 5. You're in a wide open space. You can see everything. But like if you can see everything, there's no room for anything to really surprise you. You can look miles down the road and see, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with that big dude at the end of the street. Oh, there's a bridge here. I see a truck over there. The truck's gonna fly over to the bridge and blow up.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how they would go.
I was predicting that game the whole time I played it.
I was
Which
just
is
in
what pissed
awe
me off.
of how bad it was, and even though they had like a sidekick character that I actually loved, that I wish would have got more screen time.
I think people were mad at her as a sidekick, but you could play with her or Chris. You didn't have
Yeah,
to pick. You didn't have to have her as a sidekick.
no,
The sidekick AI is just horrible in that game.
yeah. But I actually liked her because when they actually started breaking down her character, I'm like, she's dope. Y'all gonna put in nothing else? Nope.
They ain't really do much with her.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a wasted character, but therein lies the problem. Now, that's why I'm sort of kind of mad that we never got a sequel to Eternal Darkness. I know Dennis Dyke was trying to do one via Kickstarter. That never
took off, and
never
it's not helping. It doesn't help that he has a bad name in the industry. Yeah. Even though if you had to look over the stuff that he's gone through, that situation might not have been his fault. Yeah. So
when you actually look at the facts of the situation,
yeah, it might not have been his fault. He might have actually been the scapegoat.
I do think it would have helped if they would have re-released Eternal Darkness, HD version of it, Sanity's Requiem. I think that would have helped because a lot of people just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but they can't do that because Nintendo owns the rights to it.
Yeah. And I'm looking at Nintendo. I'm like, Nintendo, hey, bruh.
Yeah, my thing would have been to work with Nintendo, especially for the Wii U. That game would have been big.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I was like, Nintendo, hey, look, y'all can work together. If anything, just be like, look, man, we can't have you out in the forefront, but you can be in the background working on it. I mean, we just can't have you out in the forefront because you sketchy. But well, we know you ain't sketchy. We just your name in the industry is so we can have you in the background, but you just have to sit down and shut the hell up. But I mean,
hey, look, you can work on the game from the sidelines. You don't have to be the face of it.
Yeah, you don't have to be the face of it. But that game to me, I think Nintendo missed. I think that's one of those games they missed an opportunity with because I'm like, dude, you own the rights to it, so it's yours. I know y'all ain't let that license lapse. Y'all don't let no license lapse.
No, they haven't.
Y'all don't let no license lapse. That's y'all's.
That's why I look at That's why I looked at it like if that game would have came out on the Wii U, just thinking about the fact that you had two screens to now manipulate somebody's thinking with and mess with them while they're playing, you could make the game do a false like it's going online or something.
I mean, hell, like the original with a fake erasure memory card. I have never seen so many people dive over furniture. I mean, hey, facts is facts. But we did get Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
Which was a weird game to me. I dug it.
The Fatal Frame series is kind of underappreciated, but it's another one of those games where while I do like the concept, it's another one of those games where the concept doesn't leave you much to work with. because now you
Yeah.
have to take photos of ghosts in order to damage them.
Yeah.
Like, so your film is your ammo. Problem is that don't work in every scenario now because we got smartphones and people don't always use the flash on their smartphones.
But
And your capacity can change depending on your memory card that you have in there in the internal storage. So it's a lot to work around.
well, that's that too, and the fact that I guess ghosts just don't want to be on Facebook.
No, they don't.
They don't want their social media profiles to be, hacked, so you can't like really take pictures of them like that.
Yeah.
It was like I said, it's a weird game.
I mean, back in the day, the concept worked because
Yeah.
people were still using film to develop their pictures. I mean, you can still do it now, but it's a rarity.
Yeah.
So
Like,
it's not like something specific to that you need a camera for. But like, even though I guess with the Fatal Frame series, there is a specific camera for that.
yeah.
So maybe that's their the linchpin they can work with there. But they still, it's one of those things where I think they need to do a game that's more updated, that can fit around how society works right now, just to make it interesting. It's like, take it out of being localized just to Japan and spread it to be a worldwide problem, or maybe not even a worldwide problem, but just make it a bigger area that it's a problem for, so that you can hear reports and information coming into the game, like there are situations happening in other places, and then maybe they can bounce ideas off of that and make other stories that just aren't centered in the same location.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, that could be. You know what? Because you can use instead of the cursed camera, you can use the cursed product placement. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff but like, and plus technology has always been claimed to be able to be used to find and hunt ghosts. So who's to say a ghost couldn't inhabit a smartphone or a computer or a tablet and any other form of electronic and haunt it and use it to hurt people?
good point. I mean, I still don't see how that would work on black people, but yeah, I mean,
Because black people tapped into their phones just as much as everybody else. They were like,
no,
look, you go.
no. When we find out it's Curtis, like the first person gonna die.
Well, you gonna see,
Versus
look,
2 through 10 ain't.
a black person see a face pop up on their phone screen and they ain't supposed to be there. They're gonna chuck it into a tree.
Like, hey, look, man. You know what would happen? You know exactly what would happen. It would be one of those situations where dude be cheating on his girl, and his girl looking, who is this? Like, I don't know what you're talking. I don't know who that is. Hey, man, you better stop coming to my phone. So I mean, like, yeah, man. I just don't. It's one of those situations where I sit up and I think about it like that could work, and then I think about it like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. But that the phone idea does work with just what you said, because like we are all on our phones. Everybody is. Everybody's on their phone and their tablet. So that'd be a good way to actually have it where you're like, look, now the ghost got us. The ghost got us now.
Yeah, but like they could, like, what was it? What comic book was it that recently? It was DC's Deceased.
Deceased.
Where the anti-life equation took over through Cyborg. You do a similar concept to that like people's, like, say a ghost got into someone's phone and through there they got to the web, and from there they started possessing people. And maybe not everyone, because you can't say everybody's susceptible, but just like some people who are weak-willed, possibly people who are less intelligent are easier to be more susceptible to being possessed. Yeah. Anything.
That's true. I mean, and that way you can actually,
or it could possibly scare someone into possessing them.
That'll probably be the best way to do it.
Yeah. That way you don't have to put a specific requirement on it, but they have to be in fear of their life, or scared out of their mind, and then they can take over and possess them. And then you can make it be a thing where these possessed people may or may not have to be killed in order to release them. I mean, until you find the original point of the possessions.
Yeah, and that's when you run into that one person that's like, "Nah, you ain't controlling me." Yes, I am. Well, you ain't. No, you're not. No, you're just not gonna do that. They're gonna run into that one person that's gonna be like, they're gonna talk so much trash to the actual ghost. The apparition gonna be like, man, goddamn, I'm gonna move somebody else. No, you're not. You're staying right here. It's like what? And then the horror game turns into a comedy. But yeah, I can see how that could probably work best. Honestly, I would. Thing is, because Apple, Samsung, and Android gonna be fighting over who gets to put their phone in.
At this point, you just say everybody.
Yeah, just say everybody. No, it doesn't even matter. Well, my phone needs to be the evil one. I'm the evil corporation. Like, oh, jeez.
All of y'all are, so we don't care.
Yeah, you are. So, but yeah, I actually wouldn't mind having another Fatal Frame, seeing as how they are in the Assist Trophy and Smash Brothers. But I wouldn't mind having one though, having another one come through, because I did get a chance to play the one that came on the Wii U, and it was great. It was just like that game just didn't do well because I think people didn't understand it.
Well, it was also because of that big uproar for not having a physical version of the game being out in certain places, and people threw fits about that.
Yeah. Which we've talked about this before. I'm like, dude, everybody's going that route now. I mean, like I said, you can go on Google Play or Apple, whatever, the Apple Air or whatever, and rent movies now. What you think's gonna happen? I mean, you can rent and buy movies now and just have them on your account, just flip them to your TV. What you think's gonna happen? People things evolve. So, I mean,
some evolutions are not the best. I will agree.
I will agree with that, but some of them, that's how you get to you see what works. And unfortunately, like, if you want to clear out clutter, that's a good way to do it. And unfortunately, with the size of stuff, how stuff is getting more and more information and data, and the size of these movies, like, right, nobody finna be putting that mess on. They ain't finna make no special disc to put some of this stuff on. They're just not gonna do that because you ain't gonna want to pay for it.
Nope.
It's just gonna get to a point where you're not gonna want to pay for it. So they're like, yeah, I'll take the digital copy. I don't need to, because it's way more convenient. But, and I know we missed some horror games, and if you have a favorite, please leave it in the description. Because we ain't talking about everything. We just talked about the more popular things.
Yeah, kind of got dragged into that boat. We couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, Resident Evil, boy, it does it to you every freaking time. But if you have a favorite horror game, let us know in the comments, because I probably haven't played it, because I hadn't played a lot of them. I played some horror games. It just depends on if I'm in the mood or not, really. And that's not saying that I hate the genre. I just, like, once again, I've watched so many movies. I've watched so many television shows. It's like that. I see stuff coming from a mile away, and then on top of that, it's not really scary because you give me so much stuff to fight back with. I mean,
yeah,
it's not scary when I can just mow people down, or shoot a rocket launcher. It's not scary.
No, that does take away from the fear factor. Now, if games added that stuff in as like a new game plus bonus, or an extra bonus, it'd be so much more, because then at that point it's a reward for having finished the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate it more, but the whole we're going to give you all the ammo in the world from jump, or it's not that long. It's not going to be that hard for you to get to it, or the more powerful weapons are only an hour into the game.
Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, that's true. You get that key to that little closet, you end up with a bunch of different weapons, and yeah.
Hey, Mr. X, eat this, So yeah. Which, I mean, hey, some people like that, because apparently there are people who are actual game journalists that had issues with stuff like that. We're not going to name any names. I already have. So, there is that.
Mm.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed our little trip down horror memory lane, as it were. Hopefully we get some, because I I don't know about you, but do you think this year is kind of like a wash
For the
for
most part,
entertainment?
yeah.
For entertainment in general, I'm not just saying in general for entertainment in general.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, because most of the stuff that people would have been looking forward to has gotten pushed way back.
Yeah.
So, and it's understandable why it got pushed back. There's not much that we can do about it. Just gotta wait patiently.
Yeah. So I'm kind of counting that, but yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed our episode. If you got a horror game that you thought about and we didn't bring up, hey, leave a comment. Let us know. We like talking to you guys, so just let us know. Anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
There is a video on my channel for Silent Play Sunday for Streets of Kama. What was it? Kamarocha?
Is that the one with the guys from Yakuza?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what I think about that game.
Yeah, because it's only like they released that in Golden Axe, and it's only like the first.
So just if you watch that, you'll understand what I feel about that game.
That bad, huh?
I didn't. You don't have to hear a word from me to understand how I feel about that game if you watch that video.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of actually intrigued by the Golden Axe thing.
I'm trying to. I couldn't download it. There was no link that allowed me to download that because I was going to see what it was like.
But because I saw the trailer they did for it and all that, I was kind of intrigued by that.
I'm like, that would have been interesting to put out.
Yeah, I'm like, why didn't y'all put it? Well, okay, whatever.
Somebody decided that it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, Sega.
Especially not after that. What was it? The last one that they had, Golden Axe Beast Tamers or Beast Riders or whatever.
Yeah, which.
That was awful. That was.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, but I have my normal.
It was just bad on many levels.
I'm just going to have my normal videos popping up. But if you watch that Silent Play Sunday is like an hour and some odd minutes, you'll see by the end of that video, and you'll probably feel what I feel about that game. That's all I got to say about it.
Okay, all right. Well, I do have a movie review coming up. You'll probably see it either Monday or Tuesday for Welcome to Sudden Death on Netflix. I also have on the gaming channel, will be up tomorrow morning, and that is the Spirit Table playthrough with commentary for Minecraft Steve for Smash Brothers. So be sure to check that out. If you haven't subscribed to the gaming channel, please do so. Don't forget, we got a Discord as well. I'm going to probably start trying to push stuff through Discord so you can talk to me through there. Link is in the description. If they do have a Game Awards, we will be doing a live little chat while it goes through. Hopefully it's on a Saturday so I can actually watch it with y'all.
That's gonna be a nice cut up on them.
Yeah, because if they have it during the week, unfortunately I probably won't be able to make it due to my new job. But if it's on Saturday or Sunday, it's all good. We'll be live doing it. We did one last year. It got hilariously funny because I think we were all kind of drunk. I know I had a lot of rum, and I know Shadow Fox had something, and all of us were drinking. So if they do have one, we're probably gonna do that. It's been going back and forth. There's been rumors that they're gonna have something, and there's rumors that not. I don't know. So we just have to wait and see because they did have games come out this year. So I mean, you can have a Game Awards, even though I'm pretty sure Jeff is going to give Kojima another award.
Yeah, we don't.
And that's our show, people. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good day. As always, thanks for watching. Peace, love, soul, all that other good stuff, and Wakanda forever. Peace out, peeps.
Peace out, everybody.